I never thought I'd be the man who'd trade his vows for a woman's wealth and whispers. My name's Daniel, and this is my confession, raw and unfiltered, a story of desire so fierce it burned through my soul and left me in ashes. If you're watching, you're already hooked, drawn to a sin that feels like salvation until it's a chain around your heart. This isn't about love or redemption. It's about hunger, the kind that blinds you and begs you to fall. Stay with me because this one's going to sear your soul. It's a tale of luxury, lust, and a betrayal I couldn't escape. It was a crisp November evening in Chicago, Illinois, the city glowing with lights and ambition. I was 30, married to Sarah, a schoolteacher whose love was my anchor, but our life was a struggle. Bills piling up, our apartment cramped, our dreams deferred. I worked as a handyman fixing leaks and lights for the city's elite. That's how I met Victoria, a 45-year-old heiress, her mansion a fortress of marble and secrets in Lincoln Park. Victoria was a vision, all elegance and power, her black velvet dress clinging to curves that spoke of wealth and confidence. Her dark hair was swept up, her eyes emerald and sharp, cutting through me as I repaired her chandelier. "You're good with your hands, Daniel," she said, her voice low, teasing like she saw through my worn jeans and calloused fingers. My wedding ring glinted, a warning. I ignored, my pulse racing as she leaned closer, her perfumed sandalwood and desire hitting me like a spark. The mansion was a world apart, its halls lined with art, its silence heavy with wealth. Sarah was at home grading papers, her presence a comfort I took for granted. I told myself to focus, to finish the job, but Victoria's gaze held me, her smile a dare. She offered me wine, her fingers brushing mine as she handed me the glass, a spark that set my nerves alight. My breath caught my skin, flushing in the chandelier's glow. I should have left, gone back to Sarah, but the luxury, her scent, Victoria's pull, it was too much. "You're married," she said, glancing at my ring, her tone more challenge than judgment. I nodded, my throat tight, my mind screaming to stop. "Does she make you feel alive?" she asked, stepping closer, her dress rustling, outlining curves I tried not to see. The question was a flame igniting a fire I'd buried under years of struggle. I didn't answer, but my silence was a confession. Her smile was slow, dangerous, like she'd already claimed me. The room was quiet, the city's hum distant, the mansion a cocoon of temptation. Victoria's hand grazed my arm, her fingers warm against my skin, a spark that burned through my resolve. My heart pounded, a traitor, as her eyes held mine, daring me to fall. "Tell me to stop," she whispered, her lips inches from mine, her breath warm with wine and want. I didn't. My hands found her waist, the velvet soft under my fingers, her body pressing closer. The chandelier glowed, the shadows danced, and I was already lost. Her kiss was a collision, fierce and hungry, tasting of wine and sin. My hands slid up her back, pulling her against me, the marble counter cold behind her. The city lights flickered outside, a curtain hiding our sin, as her lips moved to my neck, her teeth grazing each bite, a pulse of pleasure and pain. I was drowning, and Victoria was the tide pulling me deeper into a sea of want. The mansion was a haze, Sarah's face a fading memory, leaving only her heat, her hunger. Her kiss was a wildfire burning through every thought of Sarah. Victoria's hands were bold, tugging at my shirt, her nails grazing my skin through the fabric. The kitchen was a haze, the chandelier's light casting shadows that danced like devils. My hands roamed her waist, the velvet dress slipping under my fingers, revealing smooth skin that burned under my touch. The city's hum matched my racing heart, the air thick with wealth and desire. Her lips were everywhere my jaw, my throat, each kiss a claim, each touch a vow broken. I pulled her toward the staircase, the marble cool under our feet, the mansion shielding us from the world. Her dress was a tease, the velvet riding up as she pressed against me, exposing thighs that made my breath catch. My hands slid lower, tracing her hips, her gasps sharp in the silent hall. The guilt was there, sharp and cold, but it only fueled the fire, made every touch more desperate, more dangerous. Her hands were on my chest now, unbuttoning my shirt, her nails leaving trails of fire on my skin. The staircase was our world, the city's lights a distant glow. I lifted her against the banister, her legs wrapping around me, the dress bunching at her waist, revealing lace that drove me wild. Her lips found mine again, hungry, demanding, tasting of sandalwood and want. My hands slid under her lace, her skin warm and soft, her breath hitching as my fingers found her. The chandelier's light flickered, painting us in gold and shadow, turning our sin into something almost beautiful. But it wasn't. It was raw, desperate, a collision of need and guilt. "Daniel," she murmured my name, a spell pulling me deeper. Her fingers tangled in my hair, her body arching into mine, a demand I couldn't resist. The city's hum faded, the mansion silent, as my hands gripped her thighs, her lace a barrier I wanted to tear away. The pleasure was building, a storm of its own, raw and relentless, edged with the guilt I couldn't outrun. When it happened, it was a collision, a wave crashing over me. Her cries were sharp, muffled by the marble walls, my hands holding her tight, our bodies moving as one. The pleasure was fierce, overwhelming, a betrayal that felt like salvation. The chandelier glowed, the shadows relentless, but her heat was a furnace consuming me. The mansion watched silent as we crossed a line I'd never meant to touch. It was everything, every ache, every want, every secret I'd buried. Afterward, we stayed there, tangled, breathless, the air heavy with the scent of sandalwood and us. Victoria's hair spilled across my chest, her fingers tracing my jaw, her eyes half closed with satisfaction. The guilt crashed in a tidal wave, but her warmth held it at bay, a lie I wanted to believe. "This can't happen again," I said, my voice rough, unconvincing. She laughed low and wicked, her lips brushing my ear. "You don't mean that," she said, and damn her, she was right. The city's lights haunted me as I drove home, the guilt a weight heavier than the Chicago night. Sarah was asleep, her grading book scattered, her face soft, trusting a knife in my chest. I showered, scrubbing until my skin was raw, but Victoria's scent, sandalwood and desire, lingered, a ghost I couldn't banish. The guilt was a beast clawing at me, but her face was there in every shadow, every dream. I saw her again, called back to fix a light in her study. Her eyes caught mine, a secret shared in a glance, her silk robe barely hiding her curves. I told myself to leave, to be the husband Sarah deserved, but when she brushed past me, her hand grazing my back, my resolve crumbled. She texted later, midnight. The library. I went, the city quiet, her silhouette waiting in the dark. The library was warm, the air thick with leather and desire, her robe discarded on the floor, her lace glowing in the lamplight. Her kiss was fiercer now, desperate, her hands tearing at my jacket, my shirt. My hands roamed her body, greedy, memorizing every curve, every shudder. The city's lights filtered through the window, hiding our sin, but the guilt was there, sharper now, a blade I couldn't outrun. Her lips found my throat, her hands sliding under my jeans, her touch a brand I'd never erase. Sarah grew suspicious. "You're distant, Daniel," she said one night, her hand on mine, her eyes searching for the man she married. I froze, her touch so different from Victoria's, gentle where Victoria was wild. Just work. I lied, my voice tight, my mind flashing to the library, Victoria's hands on my skin. Sarah's frown deepened, her fingers brushing my ring, and I thought she saw the truth. I love you, she said, and the words were a weight crushing me. Victoria pushed harder. Leave her, she said, her voice sharp, her hands gripping my shoulders in the library, the lamplight casting shadows across her face. Leave Sarah, burn my life for a woman who could buy my world. The idea was madness, but for a moment, I saw it a life with Victoria wild and free. Then Sarah's face flashed in my mind, her trust, her love, and I pulled away, shaking. I told Victoria it was over. She stood in the library, her eyes blazing, her robe clinging to her sweat-slicked skin. You'll always want me, she said, her voice a promise, a threat. She left a velvet ribbon behind, scented with sandalwood, tucked into my toolbox. I should have thrown it away, but I kept it hidden in my truck, a secret that burned. The Chicago night lingered, and so did my hunger, a fire I couldn't extinguish. Sarah grew quieter, her questions sharper. Whose perfume is this? She asked one night, holding my jacket, her voice trembling. I lied, said it was a client's, but her eyes saw through me. She didn't push, just walked away, the silence louder than any scream. I tried to be the husband she deserved, fixing things at home, holding her tighter, but Victoria's face was there in every shadow, every dream. One last time I saw her. A late-night repair, the mansion, quiet, Victoria at the door, her eyes locked on mine. She pulled me into her bedroom, her lips on mine, her hands tearing at my shirt. The lace fell away, her touch fierce, desperate, the room spinning with our heat. My cries were sharp, drowned by the city's hum, the pleasure raw, edged with pain. The guilt was a spotlight burning through me, but I couldn't stop. It ended with a discovery. Sarah found the ribbon, her voice breaking as she held it up. Who is she, Daniel? She asked, her eyes wet, her hands shaking. I couldn't lie anymore. I told her everything, the words spilling like blood, each one a wound. She left the door slamming, the silence deafening. I was alone, the ribbon in my hand, Victoria's scent, a ghost I'd never escape. This is my story, a warning to anyone who thinks they can dance with fire and not get burned. If you've watched this far, you know that hunger, that ache for what you shouldn't want. So hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment, call me a fool, a sinner, or just a man who fell. Like the video or don't, but share it with someone who's felt temptation's sting. Check out my other stories, they're just as raw, just as real. Ever been seduced by a forbidden touch? Spill your secrets below, I'm listening and I've been there.